Position does not know where the head of the door is until we tell it on the touchscreen. What it does know is where the center line is. The center line is based off from this target right here, the end of this piece of metal. This is the home sensor. So during the homing process, the lock position will move over to the end of the bar, find the end of the bar, we'll zero out the count, and then we'll calculate off either to the right or the left the correct distance to find the lock position. This sensor here is located for the center position of the machine. This proximity detector here, this sensor, is the home sensor. So during the homing process, the lock position moves over, the sensor finds the end of the bar, and it zeroes the count. Then it can move either left or right as necessary to find the lock position. This gear here is the drive gear from the motor that moves the lock position. This gear is a position sensor that tells it how far from the zero position it is. So in order for the home position to be accurate, it has to be set to locate the drills on the center line of the machine. The way we accomplish that is we set the front of the machine up with the index bar, as we did in the hinge location video. Then we entered the number from the center line of the machine to the door stop on both the left and the right hands, and those numbers match, they are the same. Then we'll come back and we'll bore a door for the left and the right hand and compare them. The lock heights should be the same on the left and the right hand. It may not be correct, but it should be the same. Then we will adjust the home sensor here, loosen the bolts in the slotted holes, and use these bolts to move the home sensor back and forth to locate the center line until we get the same dimension on the left and the right hand doors. Then if that dimension is not correct, then we will change the numbers on the touch screen so that the lock heights are correct. So this is the door clamp assembly on the drill side for an Eagle. As you can see, that when it clamps the door, the bottom clamp and the top clamp come together at the same rate. So when it clamps the door, it centers it up regardless of the thickness of the door. This is also how we position the door vertically so that the latch drill is in the center of the door. So the adjustment rod has a ball end at each end, like this one. The either end of the rod is threaded. This end has a right hand thread, the other end is left hand threaded. So to adjust the length of the rod, we can loosen this one nut and then rotate the rod. And the rod will, as it turns, will either make the ball ends closer together or further apart. So if the rod is longer, the door will be slightly lower, and if the rod is shorter, the door will be slightly higher. So this is the faceplate mortise assembly on the Eagle. The threaded rod sticking out the back with the two nuts on it here is the depth adjustment to control the depth of the mortise. So as that goes forward, the nuts hit the plate. So as you move the nuts further out, the mortise gets deeper. Move the nuts in, the mortise gets shallower. To adjust the mortise vertically, we have the vertical stops here. So these two nuts here control how far down it goes, so the bottom side of the mortise. These two nuts here control the top side as the router assembly goes up and down. The mortise wants to be the correct width and centered over the latch drill. If you remember from the latch drill centering video, the door is positioned so the latch drill is centered. The faceplate mortise is centered on the latch drill also. So to adjust the faceplate mortise from left to right, or the length of the mortise, this is the adjustment bolt for the infeed end. This square stop right here is pushed out by an air cylinder. When the faceplate mortise is in operation, that square stop is pushed out. This bolt comes back and stops against that. The other side is controlled by a stop bolt on this side. To control the outfeed side of the mortise, this bolt right here comes up against that stop.